What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Career Mode. Now, I've got something to say before we go into today's episode. I'm going to try my hardest to get out an episode of this one every single day until FIFA 19 drops. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have an episode of this series every day for the rest of this month coming up. So daily episodes of this one. The reason for that, of course, is because we are very actually close to FIFA 19 now. And I don't want to get to the point where we're nowhere near finishing this series off and then having to start in FIFA 19. I want to try and achieve stuff with Hamburg and wherever else we choose to go. So I've decided every day at around about 4, 5 p.m.-ish, we will have an episode of this series. I'm not sure if it will be 4 or 5. I will, of course, let you guys know on the next episode when I've decided what time it's going to be. But I'm going to put everything I can into giving you guys daily videos of this career mode until FIFA 19 does drop, which is very, very close, ladies and gents. But somebody who is going to be massive for the next 30 days or whatever it is until FIFA drops is that young man right there, Robin Manole. We saw him last episode. He was easily the best player of that episode, and he's continuing his form. He's just having the time of his life right now in the Bundesliga. He got us our first goal in our first game today, which featured Stuttgart, and I've got to say, man, this kid is going to be massive. I'm just so disappointed that it's taken me to the last series on the channel before we've actually managed to get a quality player, and it just got even better because, again, he's on the ball. He managed to find a second, 25 minutes gone. Seriously, like, why did it take me so long to finally find one of the players of the series? And it's definitely going to be him. He's just sensational. It reminds me so much of little Ollie Hill that we had way back in the last one, in the last Road to Glory career mode that we did in FIFA 17. Ollie Hill was just massive in that one. This guy is reminding me of him every step of the way. And I've got big things planned for Robin Manole as he goes underneath the legs of the goalkeeper. And this is actually an interesting fact. Both of the goals he scored today in this first game went underneath the legs of somebody on the opposing side. So, yeah, loves the little nutmeg, doesn't he? Well, we continue to have good form here. Kostic with the latest of the chances, making it 3-0 just before the half-time whistle would in fact sound. And I got to say again, you know, these are the types of games that we should be winning if we are seriously trying to win a title, alongside trying to play in the Champions League, alongside trying to be competitive as well. We've got to win games like this. You know, these are 3 points that we just can't pass up on. So I very nearly simmed this game, actually. I was sat there thinking, should I risk it or not? Because we were at home. But then I decided to play it, and my goodness, I was glad that I did. Although, I don't really know what happened to us defensively. Because this goal just summarizes everything that's wrong with me in this year's game. Like, I can't defend for absolutely anything. This goal right here is just a joke. And that's putting it lightly. It's a hopeful cross whipped in. Donny literally doesn't even get a proper header on it. The header goes looping. I think it actually touches my defender's arm on the way through as well, may I add. And then my keeper's in no man's land and then he gets lobbed. Like, what was that? Seriously. And at that point, I mean, it didn't matter because we were 3-1 up and I felt like we were still going to win the game. But just seeing that goal go in, I was a bit like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what has happened there. Anyways, it's still 3-1. We are going to go on to win the game anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Unless, of course, for a massive collapse in the second half, that is. But they got a corner, wasted the corner, and after that, we broke on them. Joe O'Brien down the left-hand side. Look at the space that he's got here. He cuts inside of that defender too easily. It takes him an age to turn around. And he just continues his run forward. You can see here, I was a little unsure what to do, whether or not I wanted to actually shoot with him or square it. In the end, I chose the latter, and we dinked it towards the back post. And there was Alphonso Davies to put us 4-1 in front and pretty much secure our win here, basically. So, yeah, I mean, that right there is what kind of I'm a little bit unsure of. Like, previously, in last year's game, I would have been less clinical. You know, I'd have latched at the shot, I'd have taken it far too early, but taking that time that you need is clinical in the game, you know. You've got to take your time to pick that last bit of pass out, and that's, you know, the pros, they do it. You see it when you're watching the events as we end up conceding a second here, and again, it's come from a stupid cross, which I just can't defend in this year's game. How many times am I going to concede crosses? But yeah, going back to my point, you know, I watched the FIFA tournament, was it the FIFA E-World Cup this year, and I realised where I slightly go wrong in terms of me playing as a FIFA player. You know, I wouldn't say I'm a pro, by far from a pro, may I add. I enjoy playing FIFA, and I spend a lot of time on the game. But where they excel is that they know how many passes or how many touches they can take before they need to take a shot on. Me, sometimes I'm playing one too many or one too little, then taking extra touches that I don't need to take, and I've got to cut that out of my game if I want to get better at this game, which is always a thing. I always want to improve, you know, and that's why this year as well, I didn't just keep Legendary at the way it was. I felt it was too easy, so I played around with the sliders, making it tough for us. And I'm seeing a definite improvement. You know, I go back to Legendary now when I'm playing off camera on just a series that I want to just play off camera. And I can seriously see my improvement. You know, last year's game, Legendary, sometimes I struggled to dominate. This year, without slider settings on, it is so simple. And that as well comes down to the fact that it's made slightly easier as well. So I can't really take all of the credit for it. But continuing on anyways, after that 4-2 win against Stuttgart, we featured a Champions League game where we were sent back to reality last episode after we were defeated by Napoli. Got battered by them as well. I mean, it was really bad. But, yeah, we won our first game against PSG. We played Napoli last time and lost 2-0. So this one against Villarreal was quite interesting because this is the last team in our group stage that we're going to face for the first time. So if we can be competitive here, there's no reason why we can't go on and actually get out of the group stage itself. Manole had our best chance of the game after coming off the bench in the 90th minute of play before forcing a good save out of Asenio. And then we had a header from Van Dronga, which is exactly the same outcome, Asenio picking up the ball. So we were competitive, kind of. We had a couple of chances in which I felt like we did the business. You know, we had good shots. But the game itself was just so drab. Like, even Villarreal didn't really create a lot themselves. I mean, we had a Halilovic chance early on as well, which you saw we dragged wide of the post. Other than that, there wasn't really lots and lots to show you guys. So I'd say that we are still able to get out of the group. But looking at the game against Villarreal, I think if we play like that against the other two teams in the league, that we're not going to beat either of them. You know, still got to play Napoli again. We still got to play all three again, but playing the way we did there was just so lackadaisical and poor. So yeah, we need to improve on that front. But then in my defence, I did kind of had a weaker side out. Not like fully weaker, but we didn't name the straight 11 that I named in that 4-2 win against Stuttgart. So there is that. I mean, going forward, we were slightly weaker. Defensively, I'd say we were slightly better. We featured the next game, though, Hanover, and I was really angry. And I'll tell you why I'm angry. Half-time whistle went here. Look at this. Referee gives absolutely nothing here. We're breaking down the right with Alphonso Davies. You can clearly see the shirt being pulled. Look at that. The referee was like, nah, no problem with it whatsoever. It then stopped Alphonso Davies being able to run onto the loose ball and put the ball in. And I was livid with the referee at that point at half-time. But I had to keep calm and just kind of get myself back into the swing of things. But then again, I didn't need to do it because this kid is magical. I'm saying it. I've got to say this. It's reminding me of watching a little young Lionel Messi at work. He picks up the ball, he runs at people, his finishing is exquisite. He's just sensational already at only 16 or 17 years of age. I can't remember how old he is. That's what I mean. He's playing like he's a 24, 25-year-old guy. Well, he's actually not. He's at least 16, 17. But my goodness me, he is unbelievable. Manole scores our opening goal, and at that point, my frustrations, my angriness towards the referee faded. I was like, I mean, this kid is he's just too good. And he was involved for the second goal as well, because again, without Manole in the side, I don't think we'd be having a lot of luck, really. He drives into the box, tries to put the cross in, no idea what this challenge is from one of the Hanover players. He goes straight into him. It's a penalty kick every single day of the week, and at least the referee has given us a decision for once instead of not. Anyway, all hindrances aside, feet up, stepped up to take the spot kick like he has done in the past, and he sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. With 20 minutes left on the clock, it was Hamburg 2, Hanover 0, and it looked like it was going to be 6 points from 6 in our first 2 Bundesliga games of the episode today. Thrilled with that result, obviously. Being able to come here and dominate the game against Hanover as well away from home is always a good thing to have. And Manole played his part massively again. He was the best player on the pitch by a country mile. He is brilliant. So, 2 wins out of that one. A draw in the Champions League. So, I mean, our league form is good enough. It's just that Champions League form. Now, the worst case scenario that I want to have happen is we finish 3rd and then we still get Europa League football. I don't want us to finish 4th and get knocked out completely because that would be anticlimactic, wouldn't it? Deutsche Pokal, though, really not bothered about that one. We faced Paderborn in a game which I simmed. We lost by a goal to 0 through a penalty. Is what it is. As I said to you guys, it's the least of my worries is the Deutsche Pokal at this point. I'm trying to make sure we're still competitive in the Champions League and the Bundesliga because I don't want to really be playing extra games in the Deutsche Pokal if I can avoid it. So it would have been great to go through, but I've got to admit, I wasn't the least bit bothered after getting knocked out by a goal to 0. Next up was Augsburg, in which I decided to sim this one. We had the home advantage. I said to you guys earlier, I didn't want to risk it against Stuttgart, but I decided to risk it against Augsburg. And in the end, we went on to win the game by 4 goals to 0. Up, Kostic, and a double for Davies, giving us the victory in that game. Couldn't really complain, can you? Because, I mean, great result, that one. And following that, we're back in the Champions League. And were facing PSG for the second time in the group stage. We were down to 10 men last time we played them. We won the game by a goal to nil. So that's anything to go by. Happy days that we've got 11 players on the pitch. Or maybe not, because it is PSG at the end of the day. But then, having said that, we started off unbelievably. That guy on your screen again, Robin Manole, whipped in a delicious cross towards the back post and up like a salmon. Rose Papadopoulos, and he put us 1-0 in front at the Parc des Princes. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hamburg from Germany, a team that you didn't expect to see playing Champions League football this year, are winning at the Parc des Princes. Let that just sink in for a moment. Also, let it sink in that Robin Manole was the man who assisted that with his, eighth league or 8th appearance for Hamburg, something along those lines. Yeah, it's crazy. But our real hope was lived for a matter of moments, because we were sent back down, crushing to earth like we were against Napoli, when PSG opened me up like I was so easy. Oh my goodness. Neymar on the left-hand side, got inside, played the ball to Verratti, and that summed up really how difficult this actually is. And with 12 minutes to go, disaster. Neymar, for once, I got the luck on our side, guys. The cross came in, Neymar headed it, it came off the bar, and at that point I was like, no, it's bounced straight back to him. But it didn't, we cleared it, and then we went up the other end. Manole's ball through, Rebic fighting with the defender, Marquinhos to get the ball, but he would also hit the woodwork. So unfortunately, like PSG did, they were unlucky not to score, but then so were we. So all honours even at this point. With 3 minutes left on the clock, Manole's ball to Rebic. Rebic over the top towards Kostic. He brought it down, drove into the area, put the ball in, and at the back post was Alphonso Davies to win at the Parc des Princes. PSG 1, Hamburg 2. It's the case of the kids that are winning us these games. Manole has been sensational throughout the entire episode today, especially in the Bundesliga. He's hit 5 Bundesliga goals now, has the young man. I think he actually plays from Romania as well, so he's going to get an international debut at some point in the near future. But this time, it was all about Alphonso Davies. He rose at the back post and was able to get us in front here. You can see Unai Emery is clearly not very happy with his team here. To lose at the Parc des Princes is one thing, but to be outclassed by Hamburg is another. And I certainly stand by that. I felt we were brilliant there at the Parc des Princes, thoroughly deserving of that 2-1 win. And for the second time in the Champions League group stage, PSG have been defeated by Little Hamburg. I am so glad to be able to say that. You can see by match facts, as I said, we dominated possession, we had more chances. Villarreal beating Napoli means that we do actually go in second in the Champions League group stage. So we do play Napoli after that one, so we feature that game in the next episode. So hopefully we'll beat them and get some revenge on them. In terms of the league, though, we're top of the league as well. So everything is going fine and dandy at this current time. I'm excited, man. Manole is going to be brilliant, and hopefully you guys are as well. Other than that, though, that is it for today's episode. As I said to you, there'll be another episode tomorrow at some point during the day, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. If you're not already subscribed, it's down below, guys, and I'll see you all again soon. Adios.